Today we're diving deep into a topic that has been making waves across international policy circles, but isn't getting enough mainstream attention. The presence of foreign military bases in Africa, specifically the recent developments with the US drone base in Nigeria. What does this mean for Nigeria, for the wider region, and for the continent's long-term sovereignty? Let's break it down. First, let's get the facts straight. The United States has operated a major drone base, Air Base 201, in Agadez, Niger, 4 years. This base has been a critical hub for surveillance and counter-terrorism operations against groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda affiliates in the Sahel region. However, following a military coup in Niger last year, the new leadership has demanded that US troops leave the country. This has forced Washington to look for a new home for its strategic assets, and Nigeria has emerged as a potential, and some say probable, new host. So, why Nigeria? Geographically and strategically, it makes a lot of sense for the US. Nigeria is a regional powerhouse. It has the continent's largest economy and military, and it's centrally located to monitor the same threats the US was tracking from Niger. For the Nigerian government, hosting such a base could come with significant perks: advanced military technology, intelligence sharing, training for its armed forces, and a strengthened strategic partnership with a global superpower. On the surface, it seems like a win-win for combating the very real and devastating threat of terrorism that has plagued northern Nigeria for over a decade. But this is where the conversation gets much more complicated. The idea of a foreign military base on Nigerian soil has sparked a fierce debate within the country and across Africa. Critics, including many prominent Nigerian politicians and civil society leaders, are raising some serious red flags. Their primary concern is national sovereignty. They argue that allowing a foreign power to operate a military base on your land is a fundamental compromise of your independence. It creates a dynamic where a foreign nation's strategic interests can start to influence, or even dictate, your own country's foreign and domestic policy. Think about it. Who ultimately calls the shots from that base? If a drone strike is launched from Nigerian territory, but under US command, who is accountable for civilian casualties or mistakes? This isn't a theoretical question. We've seen the devastating impact of errant drone strikes in other parts of the world. It raises complex legal and ethical questions about jurisdiction and responsibility. The fear is that Nigeria could be drawn into conflicts that are not of its own making, simply by virtue of hosting the base. Then there's the security argument itself. Does a foreign drone base actually solve the root causes of insecurity? Many argue that it doesn't. Terrorism in the Sahel and northern Nigeria is fueled by a complex mix of poverty, political grievances, climate change, and weak governance. A high-tech military approach, focused on surveillance and targeted strikes, can feel like putting a band-aid on a deep wound. It might eliminate individual threats, but it doesn't address the underlying conditions that allow these extremist groups to recruit and thrive in the first place. In fact, some analysts argue that a visible US military presence could make things worse. It can become a powerful recruiting tool for extremist groups who frame their fight as a noble resistance against a foreign occupier or crusader. This narrative can attract new followers and escalate the conflict, turning a local insurgency into a regional theater for a global ideological battle. The very presence of the base could become a magnet for attacks, potentially destabilizing the host region even further rather than securing it. We also have to look at the historical context. Africa has a long and painful history with foreign powers meddling in its affairs. The colonial era left deep scars, and the Cold War saw the continent become a proxy battleground for the US and the Soviet Union, with devastating consequences for many nations. This history has created a deep-seated and entirely justified skepticism towards any form of foreign military presence. For many, a US base in Nigeria looks less like a partnership and more like a new form of neocolonialism, where strategic resources and locations are controlled by outside powers for their own benefit. This sentiment is echoed across the continent. The African Union has long-standing policies aimed at promoting African-led solutions to African problems. The goal is to build up the capacity of African militaries and regional bodies, like ECOWAS, to handle their own security challenges without relying on external actors. Welcoming a major foreign base seems to run directly counter to this spirit of Pan-African self-reliance and sovereignty. It sends a message that African nations are incapable of managing their own security, a narrative that many are working hard to dismantle. Let's consider the economic implications as well. While there might be some short-term economic benefits, like contracts for local suppliers or jobs on the base, these are often limited. The bigger picture involves the potential for economic dependency and the alignment of Nigeria's economic policies with U.S. interests. Furthermore, the focus on a militarized solution can divert precious resources and political attention away from much-needed investments in development, education, healthcare, and job creation, the very things that could build long-term stability and resilience against extremism. So, what's the alternative? Proponents of African-led solutions suggest a different path. Instead of hosting foreign bases, they advocate for partnerships that focus on capacity building. This means providing training, equipment, and intelligence support to Nigeria's own military so they can lead the fight effectively. It means focusing international aid on development projects that tackle the root causes of conflict. It means strengthening regional security cooperation through bodies like the African Union and ECOWAS, so that neighboring countries can work together to secure their borders and share intelligence. This approach is undoubtedly harder and takes longer. Building a nation's security capacity from the ground up is a generational effort, but the argument is that it's the only sustainable solution. It empowers nations instead of making them dependent. It respects sovereignty instead of compromising it, and it puts the focus on building a peaceful and prosperous future from within, rather than trying to impose security from the outside. The debate over the U.S. drone base in Nigeria is not just about drones and terrorism. It's a debate about the future of Africa. It's a choice between two very different models of security and international relations. One model relies on partnerships with global powers, accepting the trade-offs to sovereignty for the sake of immediate military advantage. The other model champions self-reliance, regional cooperation, and a holistic approach that links security with development and good governance. As this situation unfolds, it's crucial for us to watch closely and understand all sides of the issue. The decision Nigeria makes will have profound implications not just for its own 200 million people, but for the security architecture of the entire African continent. It is a defining moment that will tell us a lot about the direction Africa is heading in the 21st century. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think hosting a US drone base is a pragmatic solution for Nigeria, or a dangerous step backward for its sovereignty? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one, and I am really curious to hear your perspectives on this complex topic. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video informative and please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into global affairs. It really helps us continue making this content. Until next time, stay informed.
Greetings everyone. It's another time and another day, another chance. We meet again in our lovely channel. Hopeful you are very fine, as I'm very fine too, as I'm here today in front of you to share some information or to share with you some ABCs that are going on in the currently world, or in the dependent, or in the developed, or in the, I can't get even a good name to pronounce for this word because it has reached in a very developed state. Today is all about issue that is between USA and West Africa. Few months back, or few months ago, the United States was removed out, or was kicked away, was vanished away from the from the Alliance of States of Sahel. I mean, from the AES. I mean, it was removed from West Africa, or on the land of AES. I mean, they decided that AES decided that US military bases should be removed from their land. Now this gave us, made the people to be under tension. Why are they deciding on this? Or what will happen if United States military bases will be removed from AES. But it was not a joke, it was a serious issue. As today I'm here in front of you, there is no any military bases in AES land. Means that they were serious and the issue it was taken in action. As currently AES is in own military base and no any United States bases are there. But this it was on AES, a alliance that was found in West Africa. Now, today or currently, United States is back again in West Africa. Now the question comes, in which country does United States kept his or has land? Now the country that United States is currently in is the giant nation, is among the giant nation in Africa. I mean the country is Nigeria. As we know that Nigeria faces a lot of problems. It is true, among all the countries in Africa faces a lot of problems is Nigeria. Now the problems which is there is all about these terrorist groups are there, the one who are making government unstable. Also there is these so-called civil wars. There are a lot of problems are there, but still is a giant nation in Africa. Now the question comes, if really Nigeria is a giant nation, what does United military bases do in this giant nation? Means there is something else going on between United States and Nigeria. It is true that due to the presence of these terrorist groups, insecurity problems, civil wars, there is a need of help in Nigeria. Means there is need of Nigeria to ask for help. Now, why United States has become the first? Why United States has become the first to give a help to Nigeria? Is it true is all about help, or there is another thing else going on behind? That is a question that's right. But remember, in Nigeria is not, despite suffering from civil wars, from terrorist groups, but still is very good in economic status. Has a lot of mines that gives out minerals, especially the all about oil. There is oil in Nigeria and oil are being extracted in Nigeria. So once we see this giant nation in Nigeria, meaning United States troops in Nigeria, gives us a lot of questions. Is it true is about protecting them, or is it about economic control? There is two things that are going on. Now that is all about troops. Okay. Also we see there is drones that are from United States that have been sent in Nigeria. Now let me ask, the question that I can ask is this: who controls the air? Who is the giant in air? Is it true that you are giving us help? Is it true that you must send a drone? What does a drone working for? Or what the meaning of sending a drone in Nigeria? This drone is not only for protection, it has its own function apart from help. Actually, that is a reality and no one can go against it. That drone is not for giving out a help. It's all about exploitation. Once I talk about exploitation, I'm hopeful enough that you understand, because most of African nations are being exploited too much, because we are the one who we are living, we are the one who we are seeing. These things are mostly happening in most of African nations, but now in Nigeria it has become too much. There is military bases, drones, soldiers will come at the end until the leaders will move from United States at the end, because this is just a beginning. Now we see that Nigeria has decided to allow military bases from United States to sit or to work in its nation, but United Alliance of States of Sahel has disagreed. Now, why we Africa we are choosing two different ways? Some agrees, some disagrees, but few who are disagreeing, but a lot of us we are agreeing. What's the problem? Why are we dividing two different groups? Why are we not in one united group? There is something else. Now, the thing that made us to live is all about fear. The thing that's made us to be in two groups is all about fear. Once you talk about fear, because once you fear, you will never be free. That's the thing. Once you fear, you will never be free. Now, the thing that costs most of us is fear. We do fear much, we Africans. Now, take example like countries of AES, Alliance of States of Sahel. These are among of the countries that are seen here in the continent of Africa, but they have not, they have removed it, they have kept away their fear and stand firm. We see the development is seen, changes are seen, good things are going on. Congratulations, a lot of likes in leaders of AES. Now, these are few who have decided. What about these who we are agreeing for help, everyday dependence, everyday control, every day is all about we. Now, we do fear. Once we fear, we are going to them to ask, we are going to them to kneel so as to get loans. And once we kneel, once we praise them, they are coming with a lot of power, a lot of mandate, giving us a lot of conditions, a lot of things that they make us wish, they make us to be in developed or in underdevelopment, in short. So these countries who we are agreeing for control from foreign countries, we are not, let's forget about development, because they never leave us to develop. Because once they know that once they leave us to develop, we will not go again to ask for help. So once you decide to be dependent, forget about development. So this gives, this rise, this should be taken to all Africans, that we should keep away our fear. That's the thing that's made us to be in poor condition. So let's take AES as our role model. Let's take AES our leaders, so as to reach in development, because it is seen that AES is among of the strong alliance in Africa. No one can make doubt on it. It is true and it is seen that is among of the strongest alliance in Africa. and it has reached in very good position, in very good states of development. So this should be taken to all African nations, that fear is not the thing that can make us. Fear is among the things that leads to sovereignty to disappear. So let's start live by good. Let's start live by going with relax, with prayers, with confidence, so as to ensure that there is development at the end. So this message is to all Africans that we should start, and we should stand by our own so as to make development in our nation. At the end, sovereignty will be ours. So this message goes to all Africans leaders that they should take it in consideration, as the effects are all to Africans. So Africans should change our modality, should change our minds so as to focus on our future. Lastly, if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us your comments. Walnuts, don't forget to share it to all Africans who are here in the continent and those who are outside the continent of Africa. Thanks.
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make Africa great. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa.